Alright, I've got one so easy today that I'm okay with wearing a white shirt. I'm not worried about it getting dirty. And that's a new shift boot. And the only thing we're going to need is a Phillips head screwdriver. So I'm going to get to it. Okay, so the first step is to remove the shift handle, and if it's been on there for a while, you might want to use both hands and then just set that aside. The next thing, let's go ahead and take whatever's in this spot out. In my case, I've got a broken cup holder which I need to replace. There could be an ashtray here as well, which has a little sliding back piece. There's also a little insert that goes right in there, which I don't have for this car, but we got to get all that out so we can get to this screw. So that screw needs to come out. Up at the top on both sides here and here, there is a screw and a screw. And then at the back in your console, you open that up and you've got two more screws there and there. So all 5 of those need to come out. So then I'm just going to lift from the front, go ahead and drop that in neutral, lift from the front and pull it up and off of your little controls. So once you've got it off, you'll have some wires holding things on, which don't have to be disconnected, but I'm going to disconnect them just to make things just a little bit easier. And while it's apart, now is a good time to inspect this piece as well. When it gets tears, it causes a whole lot of noise and a lot of heat to come through, and it sucks. It's really easy to change. Once you get to this step, you have a bolt that goes here. Mine is broken, but you have one there, and one there. And all you're going to do is take those out, slide it up over, and this piece can be a little difficult because of this ring holds it on pretty tight, but you basically work that off of there, put your new one on, and then that's good to go. So just a little tip for this piece right here. There's also some sound insulation that goes here, which I don't have. I'm probably going to cut a piece of insulation that I have to put in there because that'll help also with noise and heat. Back onto the boot. It's just these 4 screws to take out the little bracket that holds it in. So let's get those out. And again, just a Phillips head. And those are in there pretty light. And that will come right out of there. So looking at the boot bracket and the new one, I got mine on eBay. It was about $26. Not saying that's the way you have to go, but it does work. It's made out of real leather, whereas the original one is fake, but that doesn't really matter. It doesn't make it bad. But you're gonna have you're gonna have two of the widest ends, that's the sides. And then you'll have a wide part and a narrow part. And of course that's gonna go front and back. And so just put it on the shape of this. And in order to take it off, it's literally just on there with these little hooks. And so you'll just push it over and pull them off of there. Throw that old one aside. Go ahead and clean all the debris out of there. It's going to be the same thing in reverse. So find your two widest ends for the sides and the narrow ends for the top and bottom. So just slide those on there and be careful with it. You don't need to force anything. You don't want to tear the boot. You also don't want to break these little tabs off. The brackets are a little harder to find than the shift boots. And the next thing to do is take our newly put together boot and bracket, which this boot is pretty nice. The one from eBay. It's from a company in the UK. And the corners match up really well, so I'm pretty impressed with that. But we're gonna put that in there, make sure we get the wires behind this little bracket. We're gonna put our 4 screws back. And just make sure not to over tighten these. They are in plastic. Once they strip out, they won't be very good again. It's kind of a pain to fix a strip plastic screw without going up a size, which just isn't the best idea. Just tighten these with the lightest amount of effort possible. And that's it reinstalled. So let's take a look at it. Yeah, looks pretty good. All our corners lined up. All right, so I'm going to put this thing back in place with our 5 screws, connect our wires. I'm going to put a piece of insulation in there, put a piece of insulation in here that I'm missing, and I'll show you the final result. And there we go. It is all back together and looks pretty good. So it's a little bit baggy, and that insulation that I put in there does push it up just a little bit, but it doesn't look bad. It definitely looks a lot better than the big giant gaping hole that was torn in there. But you know, it shifts well, doesn't cause any kind of annoying stretching, so everything, you know, stays kind of loose, which is nice. So when you try to shift into gear and a shift boot is really tight, it can sometimes, you know, make it really annoying to shift. But this one doesn't do that. So that's going to do it for the day. So thanks for watching.